Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. We have just finished the first week of October, and so that means it's time to do a wrap up video of my weekly transactions for the first week of October. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is A Life Well Spent. My name is Kelly, and on this channel, I'm documenting my financial journey. Today's video is all about my week one transactions for the first week of September 2024. For those of you who have watched my videos before, you've been here before, you know that I like to set up my budget and my expenses so that basically everything that I have to pay out comes out in the first week of the month. I do that by leaving in my checking account a month's worth of income. I use a zero-based budget, which means before I get paid, every dollar has its own assignment. And I just do this for my own peace of mind. I'm in a position where I'm fortunate that I can do that. It took a minute. It took some time because I never just never really kept a lot in my checking account, and then I kind of got to the point where I was like, yeah, I think I want to do it this way. But it took paying off some debt to feel like I had some wiggle room and things like that. So anyway, took a little bit. Eventually got there. And now when I get to the end of the month, any overage I have gets transferred to whatever my savings goals are. If I overspend in that month, then I will pull from my savings to, write that so that I'm always starting with a month's worth of income. And I just like it's so much easier for me at this point then. Like it's set it and forget it. As far as paying all of my bills and stuff like that goes. I used to do the reason I do these weekly transaction videos is that I used to do a lot of my spending in cash, and this was pre-COVID. It was really easy to keep track of how much money you have left in your budget for different, items when you have cash, right? If I have a grocery budget of $200, then I would get $200 in cash out at the beginning of the month, and I knew that like if I only had $50 left, that I spent 150, and that was $50 is all I had left. And then once COVID hit, I stopped using cash just because I mean, A, it's filthy, but that's even, it's always filthy, but it's an even bigger risk with something like COVID around. Number one. But number two, I was doing a lot more of like, well, I never really did grocery pickup because I can't stand that. But I might order things online and have them shipped to me or through an app and have them like for quick pickup or something like that. And it got to the point where like I wasn't really being able to keep track of, and I would get to the end of the month. If you try to do this in your head, you'll consistently be wrong. Um, and I realized that like I would get to the end of the month and go, oh my God, I really blew that budget. And I would have told you beforehand that like, wow, I was really under. So it's important, A, to have a budget, which is a plan for your money, but it's also important then to, at the end of the month, see how you did on your plan. And I was finding that I was super overspending in categories. And again, would have said that I was actually under. So that made me switch gears a little bit. And I went, you know what? I think I'm going to go week by week and determine how much I'm spending and staying on point. Now, I don't mind if I have to overspend or if I overspend. Um, it just bothers me more to think that I'm not going to overspend and find out that I am, right? Like if I look at my budget category for something like restaurant, I give myself $75 to spend eating out. And, let's say that like I've spent $60 already. I only have $15 left. And I have an opportunity, something comes up that I'm like, you know what? I really want to do that. I really want to go there. It's going to cost me like $25 to eat this meal at this place, but I really want to. And, I know that I'm going to go over. I'm much prefer to make the conscious decision to go over because then I can also adjust in other places, right? Like, okay, well, I'm going to go a little bit over on my restaurant budget. So let me see if I can't reel back in something else and maybe put off buying something to the next month so that like my miscellaneous can be under by that amount and it's kind of evens out, right? So it's really more just about like conscious decision making around your money. I am more comfortable with that than thinking, oh, I've barely eaten out at all this month. I have plenty of money in that fund. And then look at it and be like, yikes, I was over by like $100. Whoopsie. So, like, that bothers me more because I feel like that was me being careless and not me being intentional. So, that's just the way I do things. Your mileage may vary. You may find a different way Do you even track your transactions? Do you look at the end of the month? Do you do it on like a Saturday? I just try to do it after a week. So it's the 8th today. So this is just, days 1 through 8. And I think there might be something on here from this morning that cleared. But anyway, $41.85. That's my payment to the Y. It's where I go to swim. I swim like 3 days a week for my exercise. I do other stuff at the Y, but that is the other things I do at the Y. I can probably do anywhere else in any other kind of gym, but I'm really there for the pool. Mortgage $648.67. Just one payment this month. Thanks. Gas $25.49. That's pretty much just from cooking because I still have yet to turn the heat on. Sewer $63. That's a flat rate. Water $1.05. I overpaid last month. If you remember from my videos, I paid that bill twice, but apparently last month's bill was $1.05 more. I guess I used a little bit more water than usual. And so that extra payment covered everything for this month except the $1.05 that I was over. So had to send that out. Electric $52.46. That's pretty standard at this point now. I think it might drop a little bit in the winter because the biggest bulk of this right there is the stupid dehumidifier in the basement. And that should dry out more in the winter. So I shouldn't need to be running that nearly as much. But it gets darker sooner and I have lights on, so who knows? Maybe that'll even itself out. Internet. I don't owe any internet, except I do. I just saw that bill this morning. The money has not gone out for it yet, so I'm not going to record it in there, but that was another one that I paid double. And I'm not really sure what I did. I knew that like at some point I overpaid because I got a $10 discount from signing up for auto draft or auto pay. But that was after like the first time I paid. So I had extra money in there. And so I was like paying a little bit less to try to chip away at that. And apparently I chipped too much away. I should have probably changed it last month and put it back up to $58. So I only sent 55, which means I owe $3. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. So I sent that money out. I did the bill pay for it today. That was fun. Did the bill pay for it today, so it will go out at some point later today, and then I'll record it in here. Fidelity $500. That's my Roth IRA. That's my $70.83 to my brokerage account and $100 to my niece's brokerage account. I do $50. My mom gives me $50 to put towards that. That's the 50 that she's giving me. 20 is her share of our shared subscriptions. We have some things that like we're on each other's accounts for, and then $35 is her contribution towards our cell phone plan. Nittany Lion Club $17 and my subscriptions $155 and car insurance $59. Those are all of my they're not really expenses necessarily. I've moved all of these things over to my sinking funds. So Nittany Lion Club is the thing I pay $200 a year, so I put a little bit aside every month. Subscriptions aren't actually going to cost me that much, and I do want to be clear, this is not all just like streaming services. Some are, yes. But we've actually my mother and I have kind of been pretty simultaneously like cutting off subscription services left, right, and center. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of do a service for like a month or two, watch what I want to watch, cancel it, and then pick up another one and watch what I want to watch from there. It's just too expensive to keep running. But now I typically will pay them a year out. So it's harder for me to figure out like how much I need to pay considering I've canceled a lot already this year. And I'm going to keep canceling them. So I've kept the amount the same. And I do want to be clear, like, again, that's not all streaming services. Some of it is like, I do like a password protector and a VPN. I do this thing called Incogni, which wipes me off the internet because I keep getting phone calls for people looking for my brother and I don't want them anymore. So like I'm trying to get like all of my contact info like swept out of those things. So Incogni, I pay for Incogni for that purpose. This includes my like identity theft. It includes we have been having a lot of break-ins and stuff in town. So I have cameras and it's the like cloud subscription service for the cameras. So like, it's not all like I'm just watching $155 a month worth of entertainment. And then car insurance, $59 is just I pay that twice a year, so I set a little bit aside every month into a sinking fund. My iCloud subscription is $2.99. Uh, Phone bill came in 61.78, which is a little bit less than we were expecting, which is nice. Then I went to Wegmans 1606, bought some groceries, stopped at Sheets to get gas, 34.21, got paid $1,890.75. I put a bunch of things in here because I want to make sure that I transfer them from month to month, at least until I no longer am going to the Bahamas. I'm doing $20 a week of just extra money, and just putting it in like a little fund for just discretionary money for the Bahamas. Now I put other dates in here because these are all the dates that the money should be coming out. So only one has come out. It's basically $20 a week. It's set to go every like Sunday until I go to the Bahamas. And this is really just like fun, stupid money. Like just, you know, go bananas money. So anyway, $20 of that went over to that fund. I went to Dairy Queen, spent $8.47 on food. Went to Burger King the next day or 2 days later, $7.52 on food. Went to the dentist and spent $115. I ended up at Burger King. I was going to go to Dunkin', and I realized where I was after swimming and where my dentist was, they were both on the same end of town. And I was like, I don't want to go all the way back here to hit Dunkin' and then go all the way back here for the dentist, especially when like I need to eat my food really quickly, brush my teeth, and then get into the dentist. And I just didn't leave myself a lot of time to do any of that, which was definitely my fault. But so I ended up just doing Burger King because it was that end of town. But I was going to use Dunkin' because Dunkin' has I still have like $40 worth of gift cards on my Dunkin' app. So anyway, alas, it happened. Whatever, I'll get over it. And this is pretty much just because I don't really have very easy food to eat. And truthfully, after the fact, I realized it was really dumb because I spent a lot of time at home in the morning before I went swimming and before I went to the dentist. So I really could have and should have gotten up and eaten at home so that I didn't have to go buy food. But like in my mind, I was like, well, I'm just going to go to Dunkin' and use up some of the money in my gift cards. And that's that. And I just never really thought of another plan. So I'm a little annoyed at myself for that one. But say la vie. 115 at the dentist. $115 for the dentist to scrape a tooth, take an x-ray, look at it, and be like, nope, not dying. I had like some discoloration in my tooth, more so than the other teeth. Like I drink a lot of tea, so my teeth definitely get like tinged. And so I thought, like, I was Googling and everything basically said, oh, if your tooth is discoloring in this way, and it was in that way. I was like, yeah, you have a dead tooth. You need to get that fixed before it gets worse. So I was like, great. So came in, they did an x-ray. They're like, yeah, the tooth looks fine. He's like, I think it's just because the surface of it isn't really like flat. And so, you get things that are kind of caught in there and it gets darker and, so it looks more discolored than the other teeth around it because their surface is different. And I was like, what? So then he went in and scraped and he's like, oh yeah, I can see him just scraping all of this stuff off now. Basically like the plaque that builds up on your teeth, it gets like worse on that tooth. And I thought, son of a good. I mean, I'm glad a root canal would have been a lot more expensive, a lot more painful, a lot more of a pain in the butt to deal with, and a dead tooth would be. But at the same time, I'm like, well, there's $115 I didn't actually need to spend, I guess. All right. Then I went to Sam's to get the rest of my groceries for the week, which is basically salads and I think I got blueberries and some chicken, and that's about it. My lunches for the week, anyway. So that's my spending for the first week. Not terrible, pretty normal. On track for a lot of a typical month for me, which is great. So leave a comment, let me know. What do you do? Do you track weekly? Do you track bi-weekly? Some people do it, kind of when they get paid and they sort of catch everything up that way. Or do you just kind of let it ride to the end of the month? How do you do it? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.